Talking insider selling. Am I worried? Not a chance. And I'll share with you why. We'll even talk some price action because it looks like we're getting some support. That's right, that floor is being built. Got some big news from the stablecoin players out there, even one of them that is now a bank. The same way that Ripple applied to be a bank. We're also going to talk about
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Happy Thursday, crypto fans, and we're up almost 20 cents since the lows for XRP. Are you feeling better now that we zoomed out a little bit? That's what yesterday's video was all about. Now, before we get into the news, like insider action with XRP and why I'm not nervous about it, you know the deal. You, the viewer, matter most. That's why I share your comments at the beginning of each video. Minute Dog's hanging out says, I just watched a clip of Kramer and another guy on CNBC telling people to buy BTC and ETH. And the other guy doesn't even know how to buy crypto or what a cold wallet is. You're right, they're clueless. That's the shit that gives crypto a bad reputation. Think about this. What you and I are doing, we are way more educated on crypto than these traditional finance players. They honestly all look at it like stocks, but you and I, no, we know the difference of utility. Thanks, Minidog. Reese Benedict hangs out and says, hey, Klaus, with the banks starting to get into crypto, do you think it's only a matter of time before they start issuing credit cards that give rewards in crypto instead of cash back and mileage? Reese, that's a freaking brilliant idea. And yeah, I think it's going to happen. Will it take some time? Sure. Why? Because banks are slow AF. But if banks know they can use crypto in order to lure people in with incentives, yeah, they'll definitely do it. Remember, us crypto fans have been doing that with our Coinbase cards for a while. Roy, XRP Warrior, dropping some support on the channel, says thank you. Well, thank you for the support, and you're very welcome. I'm happy to bring the news. Roy says 400 more subscribers, and you take Pop-Tarts out. You're killing it. That's right. As soon as we beat Pop-Tarts and subs, I'm going to do a Pop-Tart demolition compilation video. He says, you're killing it, Kay. You're my number one no BS crypto news. Common Sense Crypto is another good no BS spot for diversity. I know, those Hopium channels are so gross. We're going to hit $10 by Saturday. Bro, Garmin's telling us that you better hurry up on that horse to get there. I know, the Hopium and Smack Monkey pumpers are just nasty, aren't they? Bitcoin sitting at 118,994. Screw it. We'll talk price at the end. Let's just get right deep into the news. Circle breaks ground with USYC stablecoin Binance collateral option. Now, this isn't just a normal stablecoin. This is now what the Genius Act is bringing to the table. On July 24th, hey, that's today. Breaking news that I bring it even on vacation. USDC issuer Circle announced that Binance would integrate its yield-bearing USYC stablecoin as eligible collateral for institutional derivatives trading, marking the first time a major exchange has enabled yield generation on margin assets. See, this is all part of what the Genius Act can do. The arrangement, facilitated through Binance's tri-party banking partners and custody arm, Cefu, allows clients to park USYC as backing for trades while earning returns akin to traditional money market funds. Everyone, this is the evolution, and we're living it. Circle describes USYC as one of the world's leading tokenized money market funds, serving as a digital representation of a share of the Hashnote International Short Duration Fund. Well, that was a lot to say. Either way, we are seeing the evolution. Now, a little bit ago, like a week, maybe week and a half ago, Ripple applied to be a bank, right? Well, the first digital one that is a bank, right, that got approved, Anchorage Digital, is now doing some stablecoin action. So again, we're seeing what, everyone? We're seeing the evolution now that Genius happens. What kind of evolution will we see in the crypto market when the Clarity Act happens? Anchorage Digital, the first federally chartered crypto bank in the United States, will issue Athena Labs USDTB token onshore as the first stablecoin engineered to comply with the new Genius Act. Athena's USTB is a yield-bearing dollar token primarily backed by BlackRock's build and crypto collateral rather than traditional reserves to maintain its peg. Under the deal, Anchorage Digital will bring the stablecoin and issue it through its federally chartered crypto bank. And again, once Ripple gets their approval, and I know, they're going to be fighting some resistance with the traditional banking bros out there trying to stop Ripple, but we know eventually it's going to happen. If they allowed Anchorage Digital to do it, they should allow Ripple to do it. Until now, USTB was only available outside the United States, but this new setup means institutions can now access the token from inside the American financial system under the watch of federal regulators. Anchorage's new issuance program gives firms a regulated path to create and distribute digital dollars. So this is again, right? This is that evolution. And think, the Genius Act was just signed, and now we have two big players out there launching new stablecoin action. Insider XRP sell-off. Look, I'm not worried. I'll share with you why, and I kid you not. By the end of this segment right here, you're going to see why I'm not worried. Ripple's Chris Larsen moves 50 million XRP to exchanges amid price peak, raising market impact concerns. Now, Larsen's got some big frickin' bags, okay? Larsen's wallet still holds over 2.8 billion of XRP, valued at roughly 8.4 billion, okay? So, for him moving 50 million XRP, 175 million worth, that's like nothing. That's peanuts to him. And remember, these players do this all the time. Larsen, Schwartz, Garlinghouse, remember Jed McCaleb and Taco Stand? Yeah, everyone's like, oh, bro, Jed knows something. That's why he's dumping his XRP. No, they sell their XRP and use it for other projects. They use it for their personal ambitions, or they use it just to what, everyone? Create a little bit of fiat piggy bank. So, did Jed McCaleb selling XRP mean that XRP was going to crash? Hell no, because that dude was selling it between 30 and like 60 cents. And now we're what? Above $3. Between July 17th and the following Wednesday, a wallet linked to Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen moved 50 million XP worth 175 million to various centralized exchanges. This transfer occurred just as XRP reached a local high above 360 before retracing through a 9, and now we're above that. Such timing has led to widespread speculation within the crypto community about possible dumping, the rapid selling of tokens to capitalize on peak prices. Well, what do you expect these people to do? They're not all dumb as shit like Sailor where they buy the tip. No, Larsen was like, I see a short-term opportunity to make some money with the XRP that I got as a co-founder. So yeah, he only sold $175 million worth of his XRP out of a total what? 8.4 billion. So he really only sold a little bit. But remember, there's going to be some fudsters out there that try to scare you to make you think, oh, Larsen's dumping it. He thinks XRP sucks. Oh, he thinks it's over. No. People take profits, everyone. A bunch of you in the comments have been telling me that you've been taking profits as well. And remember the phrase, no one ever went broke taking profits. And for real, what's 175 million worth of 2.81 billion? Oh, well, I know what we could do. We could, yes, do the math on it. So let's do that. Let's go to 175 million, 175. Let's add some zeros in there to make that 175 million. Now, let's divide that by his total so you can see how small this is of his 8.4 billion. And what percentage is that Chris Larsen sold? Yeah, 2% of his bags. That's all he dumped, everyone. So don't freak out. And remember, use the data to help you out, not to let you be scared. 2% dumping, and people are like, oh no, come on, a bunch of you out there dumped a lot more than 2%. Are you freaked out? No, you're like, no, I could just buy when it picks back up. Yeah, of course. All right, overall in the crypto market, we are looking roaring AF with volume, 213 billion over the last 24 hours. Altcoin season has slid back to 40, but that's still way higher than we were a week ago. So yes, players were taking profits. It makes sense. And the market is what, everyone? Is starting to rebound. Overall right now, though, fear and greed, 67. Institutional players, yep, they bought back again. In ETH, though, rather than BTC. XRP, check out the move. This is what I was talking about yesterday. Sometimes you just got to zoom out a little bit and see what the trend is, because remember, the trend is your friend. Overall volume for XRP, insane. 15.7 billion in the last 24 hours. XRP right now at $3.24. Let's look at those candlesticks because a lot of what I've been talking about has been like, hey, we need some time to see what the floor looks like. And this move you're starting to see right here looks pretty good so far. Overall, you could see back-to-back candlesticks right here at a low of 299. Check it out. Back-to-back printing of 299. Okay, so think about that number, right? That's a big psychological mark. XRP at that $3 mark. And you saw before this, we were holding that $2 floor. So now, everyone, does this mean we're holding the $3 floor? I don't want to call it just yet. I want to see what happens through the weekend because I want to see what happens as the volume goes down, as traditional finance closes down, how XRP performs. But when you've got back-to-back candlesticks right around a key psychological mark, well, it's a pretty good sign. Right now, like I said, we're hanging out north of that. We're hanging out at $3.24. Two candlesticks in a row giving us some floor support right around $3. And think about it. You do the same thing, don't you? If you do your sell targets, you pick close to round numbers. Buy targets, you're like, oh man, if XRP drops below $2, I'll have my target set right around there. That's what you're seeing happen right now. But again, I don't want to confirm this as the floor until I see the weekend's data. Now, that being said, the volume super healthy on this move on up, and we're already starting to retrace some of the loss that we've had. So XRP looking better. Even though Larsen sold what, everyone? 2%? Come on. What are you worried about? It's 2%. It's not like he dumped all his bags. And remember, Jed McCaleb dumped his entire XRP bag. And guess what, everyone? The price only went up from there. So don't freak out when insiders sell because remember, sometimes that's how these insiders raise fiat for other projects. So what are we learning? Well, we're learning that with the Genius Act, some new innovation in the stablecoin market is happening, and it's happening super fast, which means what, everyone? Means these players were working on this before the bill even passed. So that means what? With the Clarity Act, players are working on other crypto-related projects with the anticipation of passage. Now, that being said, look at XRP and look at some of your favorite alts. Gotten a little floor support already. I'm not declaring floor yet, but look, we floated around the $2 mark for a while. Now we might be floating around the $3 mark for a while. And yeah, insiders sell. It happens all the time. It's part of their benefits package, right? You're given $8-10 billion worth of XRP. It's okay to take a little off the top and buy yourself a Lambo. No, don't do that. Lambo, no. Porsche, yes. Lambo, no. Trust me. You'll be a lot happier with a Porsche. Make sure you get like a Carrera 4S or a turbo. That way you can utilize all-wheel drive, and trust me, you will be a happy, happy camper. Maybe get yourself a slant nose 930 from the late 80s with a big turbo kit on it, and oh my God, hold on for dear life, because there is no smooth torque curve. It's just a straight up wham. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Back to the crypto. But we've seen, though, that now that these players have seen that the Genius Act had passed, they're launching a bunch of stablecoin things. I'm thinking right now you're going to see a lot of juice in regards to the alts once the Clarity Act passes or the Senate's own version of their market structure bill passes. That being said, will any of those include XRP? Well, yeah, we've seen XRP ETFs being filed. Ripple's doing the bank charter thing, where I shared with you yesterday another company getting XRP as strategic reserve assets. And remember, 6 days from now, July 30th, the White House is releasing their big crypto report. We're expected to hear about strategic reserve assets from the United States because remember, we haven't heard anything since Trump said about it in regards to XRP, Sol, and ADA, BTC, and ETH being part of it. So if XRP is mentioned again, do you think we would roar upwards again? Probably. But we don't know what's in that White House report, but it's good timing because it's going to give the crypto markets a big boost after this recent sell-off. Does that mean that insiders know what's in there? And that's why the insiders sold off so that they could make some profit, buy in at the lower prices, and then, yeah, ride the profit wave on up? I think that's what happens in crypto. You and I have seen this move before. Now, I am flying back to Los Estados Unidos today to hang out with the wife, kids, and the dog. So I'm just being cautious with price-wise. And yes, if I get a chance, I'll do another video today. Otherwise, it is going to be a travel day for me. I will try to bring another video, but like I said, I'm going to be traveling, so it's a little tough because you don't get the best Wi-Fi signals to broadcast power stuff like this. That being said, I'm going to keep bringing you the news. Remember, zoom out. The trend is your friend. And look how fast these Genius Coin stablecoin players out there, Genius Act stablecoin players, brought stuff to the table. Yeah, they didn't wait for the act to pass. They were building the stuff all along. Choo choo what? Choo choo biznachos, biznachas, and can't forget about choo choo blue haired giraffes. Is there a word for that in Spanish?